When you activate and do this work on and in your root chakra, let me tell you something. People think this is a walk in the park, that is sunshine, rainbows, and butterflies. Baby, but it is pain. It's sacrifice. It's losing. It's sleepless nights. It's losing your damn mind. Literally, you have to lose yourself, or the self you thought was yourself. I'm hearing Eminem, you better lose yourself in the moment. You better own it, better never let it go. You only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You have to lose everything you thought you were. And the progression or odyssey of loss is painful, is brutal. It's heartbreaking, it's hard, it's disappointing, it's lonely, it's isolated. When you activate and do this work on and in yourself, it requires for you to lose it all. But let me tell you why. Welcome to Alcheminity, because turning pain into power is sexy. And I'm your host and creator of this colony and the many colonies we're building around our globe, held around our galaxies at this point. I am your queen bee, Miss Burgess, if you're nasty. Some of my other aliases are the Gypsy Empress, Nova. You already know what it is. For those of you that didn't know, now you know. Let's get into this message, okay? When you activate, it requires for you to lose. Many of you already know this because you've been on your Dark Night of the Soul Odyssey, and you've had to lose, i.e. walk away from or die to people, places, and things, even to yourself. And you literally go through the phases of grief. Every phase of grief you actually go through when you lose, right? What feels like loss. And it is, essentially it is, right? On one hand, it's a loss. On the other hand, it's things that we had to purposely walk away from. So is it really losing if you left it there, right? Did I really lose friends, or did I walk away? Did I really lose that relationship, or did I leave his ass? Right. Or her ass. Listen, whatever. There is a fundamental difference between the two. However you want to put it, you had to lose. And you had to lose in order to gain. Sometimes you gotta lose to win again. Have you ever been in love so bad? Whatever Fantasia said. Sometimes you gotta lose to win again. Oh, right? What inspired me to do this, or to share this episode, is a movie I recently watched. It's so good. If y'all haven't seen it, for those of you on this journey as activated alchemists, chosen ones, you will feel guided to watch this movie. It's called The Substance with Demi Moore. If you've seen it, put it in the comments, okay? If you haven't, don't spoil it for anybody, but I'm just going to give just a rundown as it relates to this episode. But in the movie The Substance, now it is a thriller, horror, but obviously for those of us in this journey, thrillers and horrors speak to us. Sci-fi's thrillers and horrors have all of the symbolic ancient messages in them, do they not? They have all of the subliminal messages, all of the symbolism, all the allegorical meanings. They have it all. Thrillers, horrors, sci-fis. The things that some people are afraid to watch, right? But it has all the good shit. It has all the ancient codings in them. So this is one of them. It's called The Substance with Demi Moore. And she's I don't want to give the movie away, but anyway, she's aging. She was a celebrity, and she was aging, and she wanted to keep her spot. And so there was this guy who recommended that she take this substance in order to make her young and beautiful again, even though she was already beautiful. Oh, anyway. So she takes this substance, and this substance unleashes another her, a different her. And when you watch this movie, you'll know why this is relevant to this episode. You probably already know why, but it's so powerful because this other her that is released or unleashed or activated or awakened, hint, hint, okay, comes out of her spine. Comes out of her spine. Now, we talk about this all the time, right? Where is the power that we're activating and awakening and integrating? We know it's in our root chakra, which travels up the spine through our wombs to our crown to be crowned so that we're sitting on the throne of our power and of our purpose. We know this, right? So she comes out of her spine, and she's this beautiful young girl who just, takes the world by storm. And she's on billboards, and she's on the cover of Vogue. And, this other her is attracting all these opportunities. This activated, awakened, and integrated her. Well, in the movie, she didn't integrate her well. They didn't integrate well, but the message that Spirit is guiding me to share is this is what it's like on this journey. There's a part of you that must seemingly die in order for this new part of you to be reborn. But here's the twist. Here is the twist, right? That a lot of people who talk about spirituality or talk about awakening or activating, they don't tell you this part. But this has just been something that it's not just, but this is something that was awakened and understood, overstood, and understood in me as I was on my Dark Night of the Soul Odyssey. Yes, you seemingly die and lose things and seemingly die to yourself and lose parts of yourself. But really, those parts of yourself that seemed to die or be lost was really just transformed and alchemized. So I'm hearing fossil fuels. What's a fossil fuel? Hold on, y'all. Let me look this up. Give me 1 second. Fossil fuel. What's a fossil fuel? Okay. So fossil fuels. Let me see. Hold on. Oh! Wow, Spirit, you are. Fossil fuels are buried flammable geologic deposits of organic substances such as dead plants and animals. These deposits decayed with the passage of time and got converted to natural gas, coal, and petroleum due to the extreme heat and pressure inside the Earth's crust. Oh my gosh. Your old self and the self that seemingly we died to and parts of us that we lost are now fossil fuels. I didn't even know what a fucking fossil fuel was until now. Spirit is so intelligent. And it awakens this wisdom in us, right? When you're on this journey, if you ever feel guided to look up words, go and look them up. Even if you think you know or have a general idea, go and look it up, because Spirit's trying to tell you something. God is trying to tell you something. God's trying to tell you something. Maybe I'm trying to tell you something. Right out. Okay, I'm hearing Color Purple. See, Daddy, even sinners. Okay, all right, listen. Fucking fossil fuels, right? I'm going to read that again. So, in relation to what we're talking about, right? This old self of us seemingly dying, or old parts of us being seemingly lost or dying, are really transformed into fossil fuel. So even I have talked about death and rebirth. This is death and it is death and rebirth, but it's not the type of death you don't get a resurrection from. It's an evolutionary death. It's a death that fuels more life, right? So those of you activated ones, the alchemists who are listening to this right now, all right, your old self was fossil fuel for the new you. Now, I mentioned this in my book, Activate. If you haven't gotten your copy, go ahead and get your copy. Click the link in the description box. It'll guide you to Amazon. You can get your copy in paperback or ebook. I don't have any hard copies on hand. I know a couple of you have asked, but once there's a large enough ask for the autograph signed inscribed copies from me, then I'll go ahead and order some. But one or two people asking isn't just enough for me to make a whole batch order. So if those of you are interested in getting a inscribed and signed copy from me directly, then shoot me an email and I'll add you to the waiting list, okay? So in Activate, I talk about this, but I did a meditation one day, and I rented out a yurt, and I was in the middle of the woods in the yurt, and I had one of my sister and mentor friends with me. She's about 74 years old now. At the time, she was probably 70. She's got to be 75 by now, 76. So at the time, she had to be like 70, I think, 71. And I invited her to come along, and I just wanted to get out in nature. I just wanted to get out, connect to the earth. I didn't want any technology around me. I barely took any food. I think we took water and a couple avocados. I feel like that's it. I feel like that's all we took. I think we took like 2 plums, couple avocados, and some water, and shroom. My mentor brought the shroom with her, and she soaked it and made it into a tea, into a tonic, and we drank it. And obviously, when you decide to do the shroom journey, or the golden journey is what she liked to call it, you're going to have some spiritual awakening, some breakthroughs, some activations. That's what the herb is for, right? And so that's what we did. We went out there, and I was doing this meditation, and I remember there was another person that I invited to come and guide me through the meditation. And so it was him and her. And we created a circle. I got in the middle of the circle. I took off all of my clothes, and I was in the middle of this circle. Candles. The circle was made up of candles and crystals. And lo and behold, it was cool at this time. It was in the fall, going into the winter, so it was very cold at this time. So the yurt the yurt was warm by the heater that we had, but it was freezing, like fog was coming out of our mouths, right? But I was naked, and my body was warm. My body was warm because there was steam coming off of my body, but the room was cold. This is how serious this was. Anyway, so in this guided meditation, and it wasn't a meditation, it was a spiritual journey. It was a spiritual journey. So on this odyssey, I met my other self. I literally saw my other self. This self that I saw, she had on a yellow dress. At the time, I didn't know what her name was, so I just called her Yellow Girl. Because I didn't know what her name was, but it was me. She had on a yellow dress. I now know that me is named Nova, which is why I adopted the spiritual name Nova as well. She had on this beautiful yellow dress, black, long hair, okay? It looked like she had a real nice weave, a black sew-in, okay? It was curled with this beautiful yellow dress on. And just beautiful, beautiful body. And I was in a room full of mirrors. It reminded me of that movie by, is it Keegan or Peele? I can't remember which one makes the movies, but it's with what's the African girl name that was in the Wakanda movie? Anyway, it was a mirror, and the other family, I think it's called They or Them. The alter parallel lives, them wanted to take on their lives, right? And they were fighting to have their time in the light, and the others didn't want to go back. I'm telling you, that's a deep movie. So I was in a room full of mirrors. If y'all remember, there was there was a part of the movie where she was at this carnival, and she was in a room full of mirrors. Before this movie came out, I had this experience. So when this movie came out, you can imagine the revelations that came through for me, right? So anyway, I was in a room full of mirrors, and I saw this me in this room full of mirrors. And let me tell you, the guy who I had guiding me through this spiritual practice, he was saying, there's 2 of you that exist, and one of them has to die. Now, he was not as enlightened as I thought he was. When I say enlightened as I thought he was, I'm going to say Spirit was protecting me even from somebody who I thought was meant to help me. And maybe in his mind he was. He thought he was helping me. And essentially he did, and he was. But the full gravity of what he thought he was doing could have been much more detrimental had I not had the spiritual protections around me that I called on over time. And so he was kind of used as a pawn to help me, but there was a part of what he was doing that would have harmed me long term if I had fully listened to what he said. Because what he said was that I needed to kill, one needed to die, so only one could live, right? And he said, you're going to have to kill her. So when I walked into this room full of mirrors, he said, okay, who do you see? I said, I see me. And he said, what does she look like? And I described what I looked like. And he said, okay, you're going to have to kill her. And I remember saying, why? He was like, he hesitated. Like he didn't really have an answer. And he was like, well, because only one of you needs to come back out or something like that. And I remember looking at me, this other me was so gentle, like so gentle, so feminine, so soft. She was very sexy, but very calm, very feminine, soft, sexy, and calm. And so I looked at her and I just stared at her and she said, which is me, this beautiful me. I mean, I'm telling you, this me had the body I'd always desired, the dress, the hair, she was just so pretty to me. I was so pretty to me. And this beautiful me, this much more beautiful me, I'm not saying I wasn't already beautiful, but this more glowing me, because she glowed. And she said, what do you want me to do? And she said, what do you want me to do? Like real soft with her hands, like, what do you want me to do? And I said, you got to go. You got to go. And so I opened up the door that I came through and she walked out of it and then I closed it. And then there was the me. It was a whole bunch of other stuff that happened after that. So Spirit guided me to understand and overstand that if I had listened to that person who I thought was a spiritual guide for me, in some ways he was, in some huge way he was not. If I had fully listened to him and slaughtered that me, I would have never become that me. Does that make sense? That me that went in became the fossil fuel for that beautiful glowing me to emerge. Are you hearing me? In the movie The Substance, her activated, beautiful, divine self was released from her spine, which is the work that we do when we activate. Now, I know a lot of messages are coming through right now, but this is how Spirit is delivering it, okay? If you know, you know. If this is meant for you, it's meant for you. For those of you who are ready to activate from your spine, you know that you've been called to do this work on and in yourself. You know that you're being called into your power and your purpose through your pussy. Okay? Reach out to me. All right? One-on-one consulting and coaching I'm now offering. It's now available for those of you who are already Alcheminity exclusives with me. All right? If you're ready to invest in your activations, you know that this is for you, then reach out to me. You can email me at timmeshaburgess@gmail.com. Now, when I offer one-on-one exclusives, I do have consulting. I do consult with you via Zoom before we decide to move forward, because I need to know if you are a good fit for what I have to offer. I've had video calls with folks who I just know they're not a good fit, and I let them know right then and there, you're not a good fit for this. And I know they're not a good fit for this because they ask questions that you wouldn't ask if you were really on this journey. For example, there was someone who asked me, well, which goddess should I call on to do this? And I said, no. This is one-on-one exclusives is not for you. You can continue to being a subscriber on YouTube. You can even be a member on Patreon, but I will not work with you one-on-one because you're not called to do this. The proof is in the type of language that you speak. You don't ask what goddess you should call on. You already know. Even if you don't know the goddess by name, you would be telling me, hey, I've been having this experience with this type of energy. The energy has been like this and this and this. I said, oh, that sounds like goddess so-and-so. You may not know her or him or it by name, but you know the energy because you're already having the experience with it. It's already, goddesses and the goddess council, God's council will call on you and you would answer the call. So you would already be in the experience with these beings, with the non-physical beings. Okay? So you wouldn't be asking me who should you call on to make this happen. I will never guide anyone on how to do that. If you want to do that, go find you a hoodoo priest or priestess, right? Go throw some bones in the air and see if that works for you. But that's not what we do here. This is for the chosen ones only. This is for the ones that are already doing the work on and in yourself, and you just need help fully activating into the power. You just need help fully being equipped emotionally, physically, and mentally to handle the power that's trying to channel through you. It's already called on you. You just need some guidance through the darkness of it. That's what I'm here for. It's already calling on you. You just need some help fully activating into the wisdom of it. That's what we do together. Okay? That's the message. So there's a part of you that seemingly dies or is lost in order to fuel the new you. The old you is the fossil fuel for the new you. This new you activating through your spine. Again, y'all go watch that movie, The Substance. Again, they made it into a thriller and a horror, but all the symbolisms are there. You know what it means. If you know, you know. I want to give this part too. So when I said they didn't integrate well together, you know how I always talk about when you do this work on and in yourself, you activate and integrate your angel and your demons, your beauty and your beast, your heaven, hell, light, dark. It's a dance between the two. You cannot kill off one for the other. It's a love and marriage. Come together like a horse and carriage. This I tell my brother, right? You can't have one without the other. You cannot have one without the other. Even in the movie The Substance, the leader who was creating The Substance says, you are one together. You are a team together. So it's not killing off your old self. Essentially, it seems like a death because this new you is reborn. But again, it's merely just the fossil fuels fueling the new you. You couldn't have become this you without the old you. This new you is being fueled by the you that you had to sacrifice, by the so-called friendships and groups and people, places, and things that you had to put up for sacrifice. And you only put them up for sacrifice because they were never aligned to your power or your purpose or who and what you really are. Right? And I say never aligned to the you that you were always supposed to become and unbecome. Right? Fossil fuels for the new you. So they did, in the movie, again, I'm not giving away, but they did not work well together, and you'll see what that means when you watch the movie. But again, you cannot have one without the other. You have to work together with your light and your dark and your angels and your demons. Just to self-disclose, I always self-disclose a little bit. I realize, and I've talked about this before, but part of my dark shadow demonic self can be there's many parts of my dark shadow self that I discover, but one of them is not being the pleaser, right? I found myself in the past being the pleaser to my family, to friends. I was mother hen to every fucking body. I was the savior for every fucking body, being there, giving the advice, all that kind of stuff. And essentially, obviously, this is a part of my purpose is to, share ancient philosophies that help, but not at the detriment of my peace, of my well-being. And so part of my dark nature that I've integrated and bring to the forefront now is I'm not giving a kind word all the time because I don't fucking feel like it. Right? Another part of me, I used to laugh at people's jokes when they weren't funny. Or they used to say something that I know that they meant it to be funny, and I would laugh so that they would feel good about it, so that their feelings wouldn't be hurt. I stopped doing that. That's been a part of my dark nature. And so when I don't respond with a laughter to something that somebody said that they thought was funny, I don't laugh. That was one of the hardest things for me to come into alignment and activation with, That was one of the hardest things to use as my power that fueled me, because I wanted to people please. And so I would laugh at something that wasn't funny. I would be so uncomfortable in doing it because I knew it wasn't funny. Okay. So now I just don't laugh. I just go, you crazy, right? Or something like that. I may respond. I'm not just dead in the face and just staring at him like a lump on a log, right? But that's just an example. That's one of the things that I have pulled up from my dark self. If it's not funny, I'm not going to laugh at it just because you said it, because I realized I was only doing it to make you feel good. And it's not my responsibility to make you feel good, right? In my world, it's your responsibility to make me feel good. No, it's my world. 555 on the clock right now. For those of you, 555 resonates with me. 555 is my life path numbers. My life path number is something else, but I'm sorry. Is it my life cycle numbers? 555 is my life cycle numbers. Okay. Wow, what a whirlwind for me, 555 being my life cycle numbers, meaning I'm always and forever in flow and in change. And wow, 555 is a hard life cycle numbers to live through. But big changes coming. I don't really know what they are. Y'all, honestly, I feel like I'm at this point where I used to be able to predict what happens, but we can't even predict what happens. We can't. We can generally feel into the energy. We generally know what's happening or what has happened. Okay. Like we're clairsentient, clairvoyant, clairaudient. We're empaths, right? But psychic abilities aren't what I can't say what they used to be, but I think psychic abilities have, I don't want to say evolved. They are, maybe they've evolved, maybe they've shifted, because if you are truthful with yourself of where you are in your journey right now, we really don't know, do we? We can sense, we know who we are and what our purposes are, but we don't know what tomorrow will bring. We can feel into the energies, but we don't know when that energy is going to arrive. If it's even this lifetime, we could be feeling into energies for something that's going to happen lifetimes down the line, or something that's happened lifetimes before. Energy is energy, right? So I'm saying that to say, I do not have all the answers. I don't, and I'm not even trying to have all the answers, but I do know that when you activate, okay, you do this work on and in yourself, you are integrating a formidable power that is using you as its vessel. Okay? Using you as its vessel, and you want to be discerning about what you're activating and what you're allowing to use you as its vessel, because we are vessels. If you're on this journey, there are very powerful non-physical beings that would like to finish their work through you. Are you ready for that? Are you mentally, emotionally, and physically equipped for that? Are you mentally, physically, and emotionally equipped for this formidable God and goddess energy to release out of your spine, through your spine, up your spine? I'm hearing, baby, come to me. What does she say? My words are going right. No, the fire's going right up his spine. Oh, something tells me the fire's going right up his spine. Ooh, the fire's going right up your spine. This Kundalini serpent energy fire. Sorry, I'm playing with my candle. Top just came off. Listen, I don't have all the answers, but I do know that when you activate, you are the vessel for something formidable. And are you ready for it? Are you equipped for it? And if you are not, and you're ready for one-on-one exclusive work with me, you know you've been called, you know you've been chosen, and you've answered the call. You just need a little bit of help dealing with the responsibility of what it takes to be this type of vessel, right? What are we these vessels for? For purpose, for mission. What is your purpose and your missions? Only you know that. Maybe your purpose and your missions has to do with you through music, through you singing, through you speaking, through you writing, through you dancing, through your hands. Maybe you build, maybe you draw, maybe you create, maybe you do hair, maybe you do makeup. I don't know. Only you know that. Okay? Coming into full alignment with your purpose and your power is going to come through your pussy, which is going to come through your spine. Are you ready for this goddess to be released through your spine? Because it will be a sacrifice. There's a requirement for the sacrifice. But the sacrifice is just fossil fuel for this goddess to be released through you. I'm going to leave it at that. If this resonates with you, make sure you like. Okay? Make sure you comment as well. I like to see your comments. Share this as well. Please donate to Alcheminity. Your donations help me to continue to bring these messages to you more consistently. Those of you know that I work outside of this. Okay? I work as a flight attendant. And in order for me to be full-time with you, then your donations help me to do that. So please bring on your donations. Don't forget to become a member over on Patreon, where we dive even deeper. If you like deeper, yummy, juicy, delicious, arousing, erotic messages that help you come into power with your purpose and your missions, become a member on Patreon. Don't forget to get your copy of Activate. Everything's in the description box. Again, if you're ready to work one-on-one, email me. I'll speak to y'all in the next episode. Ciao for now. Mwah.